The cave of silence. The wind outside was cold and sharp, cutting through the broken land like a blade. It howled across the empty mountains, but deep inside a hidden cave, there was only silence. A soft blue glow lit the inside of the cave. It came from a crystal stuck into the wall, old and humming with slow, steady energy. The air was thick with dust. The rocks were untouched for centuries. In the middle of the cave lay a stone platform, and on it, a man. He didn't move. His name was Jace Varen. Once he had been a soldier, a fighter, a protector of Earth. But the war had ended long ago. The world had changed, fallen, and risen again, and Jace had not aged a single day. He was not dead. He was sleeping, frozen in time by alien stasis, hidden away before the final battle. Someone had saved him, someone who made a promise. And now, she had returned. Soft footsteps echoed into the cave. Slow at first, then faster, like someone afraid they were already too late. A shadow moved across the wall, growing larger as it entered the light of the crystal. A woman stepped in. She wore a black cloak, torn and faded. Silver lines glowed faintly on her skin, like cracks filled with light. Her eyes, bright blue, not human, searched the space. Her name was Kalari. She had once fought beside Jace. Not human, not fully alien, something in between. Something powerful. She rushed to the stone platform. "Jace," she whispered, kneeling beside him. His face looked peaceful, like he was only sleeping. Kalari touched the side of the platform and opened a control panel. Her fingers moved quickly, over old symbols. The crystal in the wall flickered. The hum grew louder. "Wake up," she said softly. Nothing happened. She leaned closer, placing both hands on his chest. "Wake up, Jace. We don't have time." The wind outside grew louder. A low rumble came from the sky. Kalari's head turned toward the entrance. Her voice trembled now. "They found you." She pressed harder on the panel. Red lights flashed. "You told me to hide you, and wake you if they ever returned." "Well, they did. They're here." The ground trembled. Jace's fingers moved. Kalari gasped. Her eyes widened as she saw a small twitch in his hand. Then his chest rose slightly. His head moved. He opened his eyes. They were hazy at first. Slow. Then focused on her. "Kalari?" he asked, voice dry, weak. She nodded, quickly wiping her eyes. "Yes, it's me. You've been asleep for 250 years. Jace blinked. His mind was trying to catch up. "The war, is it over?" Kalari looked down. "Our war ended, but a new one is starting. The ones we fought, they never stopped. They just hid. Now they're back, and they're hunting you again." He sat up slowly, muscles sore, breath uneven. "Why, me?" "Because they're afraid of you. You were the only one they couldn't break. They want to finish what they started." Jace looked toward the cave entrance. He could hear the sound now. Ships, moving fast, scanning the mountains. "How long do we have?" Kalari stood. "Minutes." He swung his legs over the platform and tried to stand. His legs shook, but he managed to stay up. She moved beside him and helped support his weight. "Where are my weapons?" he asked. "I kept them safe," she said, pulling out a small metal cube. With a soft click, it transformed into a full armor suit, folding open like a blooming flower. Jace stared at it. "You upgraded it," he said. She smiled slightly. "I had a lot of time." He stepped into the suit. It closed around him with a hiss and a flash of blue light. Strength returned to his body. The pain faded. Outside, engines roared. The sky cracked with thunder. Kalari placed a hand on his shoulder. "They'll land soon." Jace nodded. His voice was calm, but something burned in his eyes. "Then let's give them a reason to fear again." The cave's walls shook. Kalari turned toward the entrance. "Ready?" Jace looked at her and gave a sharp smile. "Always." Together they stepped into the blue light, ready to face the war once more. The first strike. The sky above the cliffs cracked open as 3 enemy ships broke through the clouds. They were black, shaped like blades, and moved like shadows across the mountains. Red lights scanned the rocks below, searching for signs of life. Inside the cave, Jace tightened the last piece of his armor. The suit hummed quietly around him. It felt like wearing memory. Old battles, old pain, old fire. His body remembered what his mind had forgotten. Kaylari stood beside him, her cloak now off, revealing silver armor under her long dark tunic. Her arms were marked with glowing lines, each one a memory, a wound, or a choice she could never take back. "Do they know exactly where we are?" Jace asked. She shook her head. "Not yet, but they will. They're using blood scanners. They'll smell your DNA in minutes." Jace took a slow breath. "Then we don't wait." He stepped toward the exit of the cave, but Kaylari blocked him with her hand. "Wait," she said. "You've been asleep for centuries. They've changed. They don't fight like they used to. They've learned." Jace narrowed his eyes. "Then, so will I." Kaylari looked at him for a long moment, then she nodded. "Follow me. I have a plan." They moved fast through narrow tunnels behind the main cave, passages carved by Kaylari long ago. The walls were marked with symbols in both human and alien language. Safe, trap ahead, exit below. She had been preparing all this time, waiting for this moment. Behind them, the sound of engines grew louder. The enemy ships had landed. The first ship opened with a sharp hiss. Tall figures stepped out, armored, smooth, and silent. Their faces were hidden behind black glass. Their weapons glowed red. They were called the Valkyren. They had wiped out hundreds of worlds during the war. But they feared one thing above all. "Jace Varen. Scan the rocks," one of them said. "He's here." The ground under their feet was wired with sensors. As they stepped closer to the cave, a tiny device beeped underground. Kaylari smiled as she heard the sound echo through the tunnels. "Now," she whispered. Jace nodded. Kaylari pressed a button on her wrist. The cliffs above the enemy ship exploded. A wave of stone and fire crashed down on the Valkyren. Two of their soldiers vanished under the rubble. The others jumped back, but the message was clear. He was awake, and he wasn't hiding anymore. Jace charged through the side tunnel, blasting out of a secret exit. His rifle was ready. His aim was sharp. He fired without hesitation. 3 shots, 3 targets down. Kaylari moved like wind beside him. Her energy blades lit up both her arms. She spun through the air, striking fast, vanishing and reappearing like a shadow. The Valkyren didn't know where to shoot. "They brought hunters," she shouted. Jace turned and saw them. Strange beasts crawling from the second ship. They looked like wolves made of metal and bone, eyes glowing orange, teeth like daggers. "You didn't tell me they had pets," Jace said. "They didn't last time," Kaylari replied. "Told you they've changed." Jace dropped to one knee and launched a grenade. It hit the ground in front of the beasts and exploded in a flash of white light. One of the creatures screamed and fell. The others kept coming. They were faster than anything Jace remembered. One of them jumped at him. He barely rolled away in time. The claws scraped his armor, tearing a deep mark across his chest plate. Kaylari jumped on the beast's back and drove both her blades into its neck. It collapsed. "More were coming." "Fall back," she shouted. "We can't fight them all in the open." They ran through the ruins toward an old structure buried under the cliff, an ancient outpost long forgotten, but still powered by solar cells. They entered and sealed the door behind them. The lights inside flickered on, weak but enough to see. Jace leaned against the wall, catching his breath. "How many ships?" he asked. 3 now, Kaylari said. "More will come." "We need help," Jace said. Kaylari looked away. "There is no help. Humans are gone from this sector. The Alliance fell. You're all that's left." Silence filled the room. "Then we fight alone," Jace said. Kaylari nodded, but her eyes looked sad. "Maybe not alone," she said quietly. "There's someone else. Someone who might help, but you won't like it." Jace looked up. "Who?" Kaylari hesitated. "Your brother." Jace's eyes went cold. "He's dead." "No," Kaylari said. "He just chose the other side." The traitor's name, Jay stared at Kalari in silence. The air between them felt heavy as if her words had pushed the very walls of the outpost inward. My brother is dead, he said again, this time with more edge in his voice. I saw him fall. Kalari didn't look away. Her glowing blue eyes stayed locked on his. He didn't fall, Jace. He switched sides. Jace's fists clenched. His armor hissed quietly, sensing his rising tension. No, he died saving civilians. We were surrounded. I dragged his body back. What you dragged back, Kalari said softly, was a clone. One of many the Vakaran used as distractions. They fooled you. They fooled all of us. The silence was louder now. Even the hum of the outpost faded behind it. Jace slowly sat, down on a broken console. You're sure? Kalari nodded. I followed the trail, for years. He's one of their top commanders now. He calls himself Arkan, but he was once Silas Varen. Your brother? Jace's heart felt like a weight inside his chest. All the memories came rushing back. Childhood training, fighting side by side, laughing in the dark between battles. Silas had been the brave one, the clever one, the one Jace always looked up to. Why would he do it? Jace whispered. They offered him power, Kalari replied. And revenge. After Earth fell, he blamed the Alliance, blamed the Council, blamed everyone but them. Jace looked up, pain flickering in his eyes. Does he know I'm alive? Kalari paused. No, but he'll find out soon. A loud boom shook the walls. Dust fell from the ceiling. Alarms blinked red. The outpost was under attack. Jace stood. The pain in his chest was gone. Only fire remained. We deal with the Vakaran here. Then, we go after him. Kalari tossed him a small device. What's this, he asked. An access spike. The outpost has old defense cannons. They're offline, but this will bring them back. You trust this place still works? I rebuilt it myself, she said, smirking, slightly. Trust me. They moved quickly. Outside, Vakaran soldiers had gathered in a wide circle. Several were scanning the building. Drones buzzed around like hungry insects. Kalari pointed to a narrow tunnel on the far side. Manual controls are down there. If you reach them, I can guide the cannons remotely. What about you? I'll draw them away. Give you time. Jace grabbed her wrist. Don't get killed. You too, she said, and was gone. Jace sprinted through the tunnel. Old metal groaned beneath his boots. The walls were scorched with signs of previous battles. Everything smelled like rust and silence. At the control room, he slammed the spike into the port. The lights flickered. Screens lit up. Outside, Kalari leapt from the roof. Her blade spun through the air like lightning. Soldiers fired, but she was too fast, cutting, dodging, vanishing in smoke and shadows. The Vakaran growled commands, sending in the hunters again. Inside, Jace fought the old system. The spike pulsed green, then yellow, then red. Come on, he whispered. Come on, wake up. Finally, the screen flashed, defense protocol activated, targeting system online. Jace smiled. Outside, massive cannons rose from the ground. Silent, for centuries they now roared to life. Beams of blue plasma lit the night sky. The Vakaran screamed as explosions tore through their lines. Kalari backflipped onto a ledge, then looked at the smoke below. Nice timing. She vanished into the shadows again. Inside, Jace watched the battlefield through the screen. The system showed something new, a fourth ship just entering orbit. But this one was different, larger, older. Its signature was hidden, until the computer forced it into view. Ark-class dreadnought. Codename, Arkan. Jace's breath stopped for a moment. He's here, the console crackled. An audio signal broke through. A voice, deep, cold, familiar. So, you're awake, brother? Jace's jaw tightened. Silas. No, not anymore. Silas died with Earth. I am Arkan now. And you? are still dreaming of a world that no longer exists. Kalari rushed into the room, panting. They're retreating, she said. But that ship... He's on it, Jace said, not taking his eyes off the screen. I've waited a long time to face you again, the voice said. This time I won't let you go back to sleep. The signal cut. Jace looked at Kalari. We're not running. Kalari nodded. No, we're hunting. The ghost fleet, the ancient outpost, stood quiet again. Broken pieces of Vakaran soldiers and their machines littered the ground outside. The air smelled like smoke and energy. The fight was over, for now. Jace stood at the edge of the outpost looking up at the dark sky. Above them, hidden behind the clouds, Arkan's dreadnought hovered like a silent moon. He's watching, Jace said. Kalari joined him. He won't strike now. Not directly. Not while you're still waking up. Then we don't give him the chance, Jace replied. We hit first. Kalari narrowed her eyes. You want to attack a dreadnought? With just the two of us? No, Jace said. We'll need the ghost fleet. Kalari froze. Her face tightened. You don't even know if they exist anymore. They do, Jace said. And they owe me. Kalari turned slowly. You buried that part of yourself, Jace. After the war, you walked away from them. I didn't walk away, he said quietly. I buried them because I had no choice. But if my brother's back, if the Vakaran are rising again, then it's time. Kalari said nothing for a long moment, then she nodded. We'll need a ship. I know just the place. Hours later, they reached the edge of the Black Veil Canyon, a place long, forgotten and avoided by most travelers. The canyon was filled with ancient war wrecks, ships from every corner of the galaxy, left behind during the final battles of the Resistance. Jace stopped beside a pile of twisted metal. He placed his hand on a broken wing marked with a faded red symbol. This was home, he said. Kalari stayed quiet. The silence here was different, heavier. They moved deeper into the canyon until they reached a massive wreck half buried under stone and sand. It was a stealth cruiser, old Earth tech, covered in scars but still strong. Its name was barely visible. Under the dust, Seraph 7. Jace climbed up and opened a hidden panel near the side. The ship came to life with a groan. Lights flickered inside. You kept this all this time? Kalari asked. I told you, Jace said. They owe me. They entered the ship. Inside, the control deck lit up. A soft voice spoke. Jace Varen. Identity confirmed. Welcome back, Captain. Kalari raised an eyebrow. Still has good manners. Jace sat at the pilot's seat. Prepare to launch, we're going to the drift. Kalari's face grew serious. You really think the ghost fleet will help us? Jace didn't answer. Not yet. The drift was a region of space. Few dared to travel. Filled with electromagnetic storms and broken warp lanes, it was a graveyard of ships, and also a hiding place. As they entered the outer edge, the stars vanished behind a wall of purple static. Lights flashed in strange patterns. The ship groaned as it passed through the energy field. No signals, Kalari said. We're blind in here. Good, Jace replied. So are they. They moved deeper into the drift. Finally, after hours of silence, something appeared on the scanner. Faint echoes of movement. Too controlled for ghosts. Too fast for junk. Kalari looked at the screen. That's a fleet. Jace smiled. They're here. 5 ships decloaked in front of them. Sleek, dark, and silent. No names, no call signs. Just weapons and shadows. One of the ships opened a channel. A woman's voice spoke calm and sharp. We told you never to return, Jace. Jace answered calmly. You said that before the galaxy fell apart. I'm calling in the favor. You left us. I had no choice. And now you come back? Because of your brother? Jace's voice grew colder. He's not my brother, anymore. He's the reason everything we fought for is in danger again. There was silence on the other end. Then the voice replied. Dock at port 2, but if you lie to us, if this is a trap, we end you. Jace looked at Kalari. Sounds like they missed me. She rolled her eyes. Let's hope they still hate the Vakaran more than you. On the ghost ship, Nox Valen, Jace walked into the command deck. Around him were soldiers in black armor, eyes sharp, faces hard. These were survivors. Warriors without flags. They didn't care for politics or medals. They only fought for each other. A tall woman with a cybernetic arm stepped forward. Named Sira. Last time I saw you, you were bleeding out with half your squad gone. And now I'm back, Jace said. And I need you. He told them everything. About the Vakarin's return, about Arkan, about the dreadnought watching from orbit. The room fell quiet. Finally, Sira nodded. We're not the same fleet anymore. Smaller, scattered. But if Arkan is truly alive, we'll burn the sky to stop him, Jace smiled. Then let's wake the ghosts. Meanwhile, far above the planet inside his dreadnought, Arkan stood in a dark chamber. A dozen alien generals knelt before him. Screens showed Jace's movements, the ghost fleet's return. Arkan spoke in a cold voice. He's gathering the old force. Let him. It will make his fall more poetic. A general looked up. Shall we engage? Not yet, Arkan said. Send the signal. Activate Project Eclipse. I want the human to watch everything burn before I take his heart. Project Eclipse deep inside the dreadnought black veil, Arkan stood in front of a massive screen showing dozens of blinking red dots. Each dot represented a planet, a system, a hope ready to fall. Behind him, the room was filled with silence. No lights, no sound except for the quiet breathing of the Vakarin High Council. They stood still, their tall, shadowy bodies wrapped in dark armor waiting. Arkan raised one hand. Initiate Project Eclipse. One of the council stepped forward and placed a hand on a control orb. The room changed. A new screen appeared. It showed a strange object floating near a dying star. Not a weapon, not a ship, a world engine. Kaelari's voice echoed in Jace's memory from earlier years. The Vakaran once tried to create machines that could eat the light of stars, turning whole systems cold and dead. We thought they destroyed the plans. They hadn't, Arkan smiled coldly. Begin charging sequence. Far across space, aboard the Ghost Fleet's mobile war room, Jace paced in front of a group of old warriors and captains. Hollow screens floated around them, showing scattered intelligence, ship maps, and weapon paths. Kaelari stood nearby, her arms crossed. This isn't a normal attack, Jace said. He's not trying to win. He's trying to erase. Captain Sira leaned forward. We've seen strange readings near the outer suns. Blackouts, cold zones, collapsing energy fields. We thought it was natural decay. It's not, Jace said. He's building something huge. Kaelari pointed at one of the red zones. This is the Orient system. 2 colonies. They're small, peaceful, no military. Exactly why he'll target it first, Jace added. He wants us to watch. He wants us to feel powerless before he comes for us. The room fell quiet. Jace stared at the blinking lights. We don't wait. We go there. Now. The Ghost Fleet moved fast. Engines lit up the drift. 6 ships cut through the void like black arrows. Inside the lead ship, Jace tightened the straps of his armor. Kaelari sat across from him, checking her blades. You sure about this? She asked. No, Jace said. But we don't get to hide anymore. Kaelari nodded. Then we faced the dark. As they approached the Orient system, the stars dimmed. It was unnatural. Cold seeped into the ship's systems, freezing data feeds. Lights flickered. Static filled the comms. We're entering the eclipse field, said the pilot. Whatever that thing is, it's draining everything. Through the viewport, Jace saw it, the world engine. Massive. Floating between the twin suns of the Orient system, black as night. Glowing faintly with red pulses like a heartbeat, it looked alive. What the hell is that? Whispered one of the crew. Death, Jace said. He's bringing death to the stars. They launched. Fighters dropped from the Ghost, Fleet and Dove toward the world engine. Jace and Kaelari were in the first drop pod. As they passed through the cold layer, their shields flickered. Jace's voice came through the comlink. You ready? Always, Kalari replied. The pod hit the surface with a violent crash. They burst out, weapons ready. They were met by something unexpected. Not just Vacaran soldiers, humans but not free ones. They moved with robotic precision. Their eyes glowed red. Implants covered their bodies. Kalari gasped. They're controlled. No, Jace said, eyes wide. They're harvested. Before she could ask what he meant, the enemy opened fire. The battle was chaos. Jace ducked behind a tower of metal, blasting 2 soldiers with perfect aim. Kalari moved like lightning, her blades cutting through shadows, but the human puppets, they didn't scream, didn't cry. They bled, but they didn't stop. Jace tackled one to the ground and pulled off its helmet. His heart stopped. He recognized the face. A girl from the old resistance. Dead 20 years ago. She looked at him and whispered his name. Jace. Her eyes rolled back. The implants fried her brain. She collapsed in his arms. He stood up, rage flooding his body. Arkan's playing with life and death, he growled. Kalari touched his shoulder. We can't stop here. We have to find the core. They ran deeper into the world engine. Inside the central core they found it, a massive sphere, pulsing, alive, feeding on the suns. Data streams swirled around it like storms, and standing at its base, Arkan. He turned. Slowly, arms folded behind his back, his armor was sleek black with silver edges. His face was calm but cold. In his eyes, no mercy, no love, just ice. So, he said, the ghost comes home. Jace stepped forward, weapon drawn. You crossed a line. I erased the line, Arkan replied. There is no light anymore, only strength. You were too weak to see it. Kalari moved to Jace's side. Her eyes glowed. Her hand trembled. You're a monster. Arkan smiled. No, I'm the future, and you're a page from a dead book. Raised his hand. Dozens of Vacaran soldiers and controlled humans appeared from the shadows. Kalari whispered. We're surrounded, Jace whispered back. Good. He pulled a small device from his belt and crushed it. Outside, the ghost fleet received the signal. Seconds later, orbital cannons fired. The world engine shook. Arkan's face changed for the first time. Shock. Then, rage. You'll destroy everything, he shouted. Then we go down together, Jace growled. Kalari screamed, leaping into battle, and the chamber exploded in fire and war. Fire in the core. The world engine was burning. The explosions rocked, its black shell tearing open tunnels and chambers as the ghost fleet's orbital cannons continued their barrage. Inside the core, flames danced along the metal walls and the very heart of the machine began to crack. Jace stood in the middle of it all, breathing heavily. His rifle was gone, melted by plasma. His armor was cracked, his left arm barely moving. Blood ran down the side of his face, but his eyes burned. Not with fear, with purpose. Beside him, Kalari gritted her teeth, holding her side. One of her glowing blades was shattered, the other still pulsed with power. She was hurt, but alive. In front of them stood Arkan, unshaken, untouched, and furious. His once calm face was twisted now. Not from pain, but pride wounded by resistance. You destroyed the outer systems, Jace said, his voice hoarse. You erased your name, you killed your own people. Arkan didn't blink. I created something better. You turned humans into slaves, Kalari spat. Machines. I gave them purpose, Arkan said coldly. What did you ever give them? War, fear, death? I gave them peace. You gave them chains, Jace said. And you, Arkan stepped closer. You slept while the galaxy burned. You had power. You had a name. And you ran from it. Jace didn't move. I didn't run. I waited. And now, I end this. Arkan raised both hands. The metal floor around them came alive. Pillars of molten steel rose, and from behind them came wave after wave of controlled soldiers, human, alien, hybrid, all linked to Arkan's command. Kalari whispered, We can't hold them. We're not here to hold them, Jace replied. He tapped a blinking device on his chest plate. We're here to finish the job. Kailari's eyes widened. You called in the hammer? Jace gave a small nod. The world engine has a weakness, he said. Its core. Destroy that and it dies. But we have to get through him first. They ran into the fire. Arkan met them, head on. The battle was brutal. Kailari spun through the enemy, her remaining blade singing with every strike. She ducked and jumped, bleeding but never slowing. Jace punched, kicked, and shot with stolen weapons. His fury made him faster, stronger. Arkan moved like death itself, every motion precise, cold, and deadly. He struck Kailari with a shockwave that sent her flying into a wall. Jace caught her just before she hit the ground. Still protecting her? Arkan mocked. Always. Jace growled. He rushed forward, swinging a plasma axe. Arkan blocked it with his arm guard and sent Jace tumbling. But Jace didn't stop. He stood up again. You can't win, Arkan said. Maybe not, Jace said, breathing hard. But I can stop you. From behind, Kailari leapt onto Arkan's back, stabbing her blade deep into his shoulder. Arkan screamed, spinning wildly, slamming her into the ground. But she had given Jace the opening he needed. He ran toward the central energy core, a glowing sphere pulsing with unstable light. He pulled the device from his belt and activated. Her countdown began. Seconds. Arkan turned, eyes wide. What have you done? Jace stood between him and the core. What should have been done a long time ago? Arkan charged. They clashed with full force, fist against fist, brother against brother. Blood flew. Armor broke. The ground beneath them cracked. Kailari crawled toward the core, reaching for the device. Seconds. Arkan punched Jace hard, slamming him into the wall. Jace coughed blood but grabbed Arkan's leg and pulled him down. They rolled across the floor, fighting like wild beasts. Seconds. Kailari reached the control panel and started overriding the energy shield around the core. Arkan saw her and screamed, "No!" He pushed Jace aside and fired a bolt of black energy. Jace jumped in front of her. The bolt hit him in the chest. He dropped. Kailari screamed. Seconds. She caught Jace in her arms. His breathing was slow, fading. You did it, she whispered. You stopped him. No, Jace said weakly. You will. He handed her the final trigger key. Kailari stood up, tears in her glowing eyes. She faced Arkan one last time. You lost. She activated the key. Core meltdown in 10 seconds. Arkan screamed in fury and lunged forward. Kailari grabbed Jace and ran. Outside, the Ghost Fleet saw the world engine start to implode. They did it, Sira whispered. They really did it. The world engine exploded. A shockwave tore across the system, collapsing one of the twin suns into a burst of light. Everything went white. Then, silence. When Kailari opened her eyes, she was floating in space. A rescue pod had ejected just before the blast. Jace lay in her lap unconscious, barely alive. The Ghost Fleet found them minutes later. As they pulled them in, Sira looked down at Jace and nodded. He saved us all. Kailari held his hand tightly. No, she whispered. He reminded us who we are. Legacy of light. The stars looked different now. The Orion system, once dim and dying, was alive again. The second sun, freed from the world engine's grip, now burned bright in the sky. Its warmth touched planets that had known only cold and fear for decades. Aboard the Ghost Fleet's main cruiser Nox Valen, Jace Varen lay in a medical pod. His chest rose and fell slowly. Machines beeped softly beside him. Nanobots worked around the clock to repair what was left of his broken body. He had not woken up in 4 days. Kailari sat beside him, her eyes never leaving his face. Her armor was gone. Her blades were gone. She wore a simple cloak now, torn, stained and real. Her hands trembled sometimes, but she never let go of his. You said we'd see the sunrise together, she whispered, so don't break that promise now. Outside the window, the sun rose slowly over the wreckage of the world engine. What was left of Arkan's army had fled. Many of the Valkyrian generals were dead. The rest were in hiding. Project Eclipse was gone, but the scars it left behind remained. In the war chamber, Captain Syra stood before a council of former enemies, alien leaders, rebel survivors, exiled warriors. "We can't return to the way things were," she said. "We all saw what happens when one voice tries to rule all others." The room nodded. "But there is a future," she added. "Because one man reminded us of it." A giant hologram appeared in the middle of the room. Jace Varen, standing on the world engine, arms open in defiance, fire and light behind him. They called him the Unbroken Flame, and he became a symbol. On the 5th day, Jace opened his eyes. Soft light spilled into the room. His vision was blurry at first. Then he saw her, Kailari, smiling with tears running down her face. "You came back," she whispered. He tried to speak but couldn't. She leaned closer. "You did it, Jace. You stopped him. The galaxy's talking about you. The Ghost Fleet has returned. The Valkyrian are shattered. People are free again." "Free?" He blinked slowly, his eyes searching hers. "You're here," he finally managed to whisper. "Always," she said. Weeks passed. Jace recovered faster than the doctors expected. His body was stronger than ever, partly due to the suit, partly due to his will. The day he finally stood on the bridge again, the entire fleet saluted him. He said only one thing: no more kings, no more chains, only freedom. But his journey wasn't over. Kailari stood with him as they prepared a small ship. Just the two of them. "Where will you go?" Syra asked. "To find the others," Jace replied. "The galaxy is big. Too many still live in fear. We can't stop now." Kailari nodded. "And maybe we'll find a place to rest. Someday." Syra stepped forward. "You deserve peace." "Maybe," Jace said. "But first, we finish what we started." As the ship rose into the stars, Jace looked back one last time at the fleet, the world, the legacy he left behind. He wasn't a hero by choice. He was a light born from darkness, a warrior who woke not just from sleep, but from silence, from pain, from a past buried deep. His name would echo across time, not as a legend, but as a man who stood up when it mattered most. And the galaxy would never forget him.